good present for me from President. Jacket.
How do you like it?
非常にいいでしょう。
Hold on a
僕はね、寒がりだからね。
It is my honor to
日本の
welcome
冬はいいと思って。
まあ
あったかそうだよ。
my honor to welcome the Prime Minister of our close friend and ally. We had a 2-hour meeting, very frank and open discussion. There's no question we will work together. There's no question in my mind our relationship will never be stronger than under our leadership. We talked about security matters. We talked about economics, and I want to praise the Prime Minister for his vision for reform for the Japanese economy. He is willing to make difficult choices, and that's what a leader does. We talked about the environment. We talked about baseball, and we talked about the need to make sure that we work for a more peaceful world, and I'm confident we'll be able to do so. So, Mr. Prime Minister, welcome.
非常にいい会談だった。もうまさに信頼関係を築くことができた。で、I think I would have a heart-to-heart talk with Mr. President about everything.
It was a wonderful meeting, and I believe we were able to establish a relationship of trust. It was a heart-to-heart meeting.
こんな素晴らしい会談ないな。初めての訪問で、これほど強くブッシュ大統領と信頼関係を築けるとは思わなかった。Much better than I expected.
This was truly a wonderful meeting. I did not feel, or I did not at the outset believe that I would be able to establish such a strong relationship of trust with the President before, my first meeting. This was much more than I had expected.
これからジェノバサミットとか、あるいは東京に大統領来られると思う。その会談がますます楽しみになった。
In the Genova summit, upcoming summit, and during the President's visit to Tokyo this fall, I am certain that we will be able to have an even closer relationship during our meetings.
Get you? No? He gave me sign.
We'll answer a few questions, Mr. Prime Minister.
Question for both of you, don't mind. First,
It's typical, by the way. He's given one question, and of course he asked two.
I thought it was one each.
Oh, that's good.
Sir, Mr. President, the Prime Minister acknowledges that his reforms will slow the economic growth in Japan, at least in the short term. Wouldn't that threaten to drag down our economy as well? And to you, Mr. Prime Minister, do you still think that President Bush's position on the Kyoto Treaty is disappointing? And if so, why isn't your country ratified it, or at least pledged to do so without the United States?
Let me first answer. First of all, the Prime Minister recognizes that there needs to be deep and meaningful reform. I talked to him about our experiences in Texas in the 80s, where we acted, the marketplace acted, we acted to remedy a situation in which we had bad loans, non-performing assets, and there was some pain. But as a result of making the very difficult decisions, our economy was restructured and came back stronger than before. I support the Prime Minister, strongly support the Prime Minister's reform agenda for the economy. He reminded me that in the course of winning his election, he had to appeal to the people of Japan and made a very strong direct appeal in laying out this aggressive agenda, and we support him strongly. I believe, Ron, it's in our nation's best interests that the Japanese economy flourish, that is strong and vibrant, and we had a very meaningful discussion ranging from economic restructuring and reform to trade to a new global round at WTO as well. And I believe this is the leader that Japan needs for this moment in her history. He wants you to talk about Kyoto.
小泉総理に対しまして、
はいはい
京都議定数についてのブッシュ大統領の立場に、失望されておりますでしょうか。また京都議定数について警告なしで、進めていくということはあるんでございましょうか。
私は失望はしてません。大統領は環境に非常に熱心だと。そしてこれからまだまだ話し合いの余地があると。特に
I am not disappointed at the President's position. The President is enthusiastic about environmental issues, and there is still time to discuss this issue.
このアメリカと日本が協力して環境問題に取り組むことができれば、協力できれば、さらに実効ある環境問題に進むことができるんじゃないかと。実効性のある温暖化ガスの削減等、やはりアメリカと日本の協力で世界と協力していくことが最善の道ではないかと。今アメリカの協力なくして進むということを考えるよりも、最後まで粘り強くアメリカとの協力のもとに全世界が協力できる道を探りたい、そう思います。
I believe if the United States and Japan were to cooperate in dealing with environmental issues, we will be able to create means which will be more effective in dealing with the global warming issue and also in reducing our gas emissions. And I believe that in doing so, we will further be able to cooperate with the rest of the world. Presently, I do not have the intention of proceeding without the cooperation of the United States. To the very last moment, I will work with the United States in cooperating on environmental issues.
協力するための相談する時間はまだある。
There's still time left for us to discuss ways to cooperate with each other.
Somebody from the, you want to call on somebody, Mr. Chairman?
総理、今回の首脳会談はですね、個人的な信頼関係を築くのが大きな目的だとおっしゃってましたけれども、ニックネームやファーストネームで呼び合うような信頼関係は築けたとお考えですか。
ニックネームそういうのはないね。かってのねロンヤスみたいだね。そういうことはないです。ニックネームなしにでも信頼関係、友好関係を築くことができるような本当に率直な打ち解けた楽しい有意義な会談だったと私は思います。
No, we did not exchange nicknames like Ron Gas in the 80s. But we still had a meeting in which we were able to have a truly frank exchange of views in a friendly manner. It was very warm and it was a very truly enjoyable, meaningful meeting.
改革に対しては普通の人はできないけども変人だからできるんだと。しかし変人というのはストレンジとかエクセントリックじゃないと。エクストラオーディナリーだっつって。
Only people who are called henjins are able to proceed with reforms or making changes. But when I say henjin, this is not strange or eccentric, but this means extraordinary.
Patsy.
President, are you concerned about the Vice President's health, and do you think perhaps he should slow down?
Mr. Prime Minister, my great friend and the Vice President of our country went to the hospital today and put a pacemaker on his heart. It's a procedure that is viewed as something not out of the ordinary for the people who have had a heart condition. I'm told the operation went well. I'm going to speak to him in about an hour. I look forward to hearing his strong and steady voice on the phone. No, I don't think he ought to slow down. I think he ought to listen to his body, and I think he ought to, which he has been doing. I think he ought to work at a pace that he is comfortable with. And I know Dick Cheney well, and if I were to say, you've got to slow down, Mr. Vice President, he's going to say, forget it, because he's got a job to do. And he's a valuable member of my administration. He and his doctors made the right decision, and I'm told that he's going to be back to work Monday morning, and I look forward to seeing him in the Oval Office Monday morning. But I must speak to him directly. They did put it in, yeah.
Mr. President, after meeting with the Prime Minister for almost 2 hours now, did you find out why he's so popular in Japan? Did you wholeheartedly support his economic reform plans, which could result in very slow growth in Japan for as long as 3 years? Didn't you have any reservations at all about his plans, namely implications for the global economy and for the U.S. economy?
I have no reservations about the economic reform agenda that the Prime Minister is advancing. He talks about tackling some difficult issues that some leaders in the past refused to address. I knew the Prime Minister was dynamic. I'd heard that, I'd read it. But you don't really realize how dynamic he is until you have a chance to witness his conversation. He's got a great sense of humor. He loves to laugh. But he's a courageous leader as well. And I admire a person who recognizes that his duty is not to avoid, but to lead. His duty is to speak plainly to the people of his country. And I believe strongly that we will have a good relationship, not only to foster what's in the best interests of our countries and in the region, but we'll have a good personal relationship as well. After all, he's the only world leader I've ever played catch with a baseball. Listen, thank you all for coming.
いや、私はね、不思議にブッシュ大統領と会ってね、もうこの人なら率直に話になるという雰囲気を持ってる人だな。本音を話さなきゃいけないという雰囲気にさせる雰囲気を持っている方がブッシュ大統領だと思う。
似てるところはありますか？
率直に話し合う。本音を話し合う。非常に価値観が日本とアメリカの価値観が共通している。
In meeting with President Bush, I instantly felt that with this person, I will be able to give my frank views and I will be able to speak from the bottom of my heart. He has that kind of an atmosphere within himself. And with our common shared values between Japan and the United States, I am certain that I will continue to be able to have these frank exchange of views with him.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. Very good job. Thank you. Thank you all.
これジャンパー見てください。